What's good, YouTube? It's Chris with the Collector's Corner. Today, we've got something a little special for you. We are going to do a PSA reveal. I just got back 25 cards from PSA, and we're going 10 hunting. We're going to see how many 10s they can give us. If you remember a few episodes back, Trey and I discussed the things that we loved growing up collecting. Probably the largest trading cards, whether it was baseball cards or football cards, we grew up collecting. As we've gotten older, our collections have expanded. They've included things like Disney cards and Pokemon and all sorts of things, including art cards, which is new to the industry and something that's rapidly growing. Today's mix is going to be a little baseball, a little Disney, a little Warner Brothers. We're going to see how well we did. If you're new to collecting, new to grading, we're going to talk about some of the things that goes into grading a card, what the graders are looking for specifically, maybe some tips and tricks that you can do to help increase the amount of tens you may get back. We're also going to briefly discuss PSA and their new policies. They've gotten just a bit more stringent on what they look for in cards. Is that good for the hobby? Is it bad for the hobby? We're going to discuss it. So sit back, relax. Let's get into the unboxing. So here we go. It's PSA reveal time. In this box, we've got 25 cards being returned from PSA. Again, it's a variety of baseball cards. We've got some Disney cards, some Warner Brother cards. So let's just go ahead and get into it. For those of you who are new to grading, PSA, one of the top graders in the industry, along with you've got Beckett and CGC and SGC. So there's a variety out there. If you talk to collectors, typically what they'll tell you is that PSA is the gold standard, the ones to go to. Those that criticize PSA a little bit, they've been known to be a little liberal maybe on the tens that they give out, which is the highest grade that you can get on a card. That's a gem mint, outside of what some would say a black label from BGS, probably being the hardest grade to acquire. But we're going to go ahead and get into this and just see what we can come up with. So let's rip them open. Typically now, if you're new to trading cards, the turnaround time for PSA, depending upon what level you go ahead and submit your cards in, so you can choose the level that you want to submit the cards in. They're going to come back anywhere from 60 to 90 days on average. Those wait times can fluctuate just depending upon how many submissions they're receiving and various factors like that. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Now, if you're new to grading, we're going to talk a little bit about what do graders look for on their cards and what you can do to maybe increase your odds of getting a higher grade. So let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, there is a mixture of cards here, some Disney, some baseball, and some Warner Brothers. This is an Eeyore card. I'm a big fan of Disney Winnie the Pooh. I grew up with him. Eeyore is one that I collect. So let's just kind of go ahead and get into this. Okay, so we've got a PSA 9. This is the Eeyore, one of 25 on the 2024 Topps Chrome. This got a PSA 9. Obviously, we're hoping for 10s on all of these. I'll have to give it a better look to see exactly where this fell short. But for those of you who are new to collecting, some of the things that they look for specifically are the corners of the cards. They want to make sure that the corners of each of the cards are crisp on the cards. They want to look at the centering. So the spacing from left to right and top to bottom, they want that to be equidistant. Now, PSA used to be 60-40 on that, meaning you could be a little bit heavier, have a little bit more space of 60% to 40% on one side of the card or the other. That's gotten a little bit more strict on their most recent submissions. In fact, now they're looking more at a 55-45 type split on those cards. So that's something looking for. And they're also looking at the edges of the cards. They want to make sure that the edges of the cards are crisp and clear as well. So to me, this card looks really good. I'm not sure why it nined. One of the things you can do when you submit your cards is you can take a microfiber cloth and you can just wipe the card down. That'll get any fingerprints or smudges off the card. That make it, a little bit easier for the grader to see and may help your chances of getting a higher score on that as well. They're going to look at these under a microscope and kind of go over to make sure that there aren't any dimples on the cards, nothing that's going to impact the surface of the cards. That's another thing that they're looking for as well when they grade the cards. So you've got edges, corners, and then you've got surface as well and the centering. So really, those are the four main variables that they look for on the card themselves. So 9 here, not the way that we were hoping to start, but that's okay. Next up, we've got this is out of Sapphire. This is an Ellie De La Cruz. I remember this one. This is numbered to 25. It's the orange Sapphire, and it's actually the image variation. A 10 in this card would be fantastic. So let's see what we got. Okay, so we've got another nine, back to back nines so far on these cards. Again, just kind of giving it a once over. I usually tend to look at my cards and I actually submit these through my local card shop. So I'll give a shout out to Cards at the Cages, owned by Pat. Great guy, great card shop. Him and Bo running things over there, and they'll take a look at my cards for me. They'll wipe them down. They'll do all those things. This was one that I was hoping would for sure get a 10. It didn't. One thing you can do, you can crack and resubmit the card. So if you wanted to try to get a higher grade, you can crack the cards, and we can go over how to do that on a later episode. Take the card out and then resubmit it and hope to get a higher grade. Now, what you need to know is even though there are standards on the cards, card grading can be very subjective, right? So you're giving one person's opinion on whether that card is centered properly, what the corners look like. Sometimes you may get somebody that's having a bad day. They may be a little bit more stringent on the cards than others. So it's certainly something that you want to look out for. We're going to run through here. These are some Disney cards that I collected. I've got two grown daughters of my own, but maybe one day we'll have grandkids and maybe collecting on the Disney thing. So I keep some of these around for them. All right, there we go. We got a 10. This is the dark light blue lava, number to 75. We did get our first 10 here, so we will take that for sure. Good to get that. Disney is a really, really popular franchise to collect from cards. It's world renowned. Something that a lot of people will talk about when you start collecting things like Pokemon and Disney is that they can't be injured, right? So Cinderella's not going to go out and tear an ACL. So you're going to have a chance to not see those values fluctuate quite as much. So we've got another Cinderella card. We've actually got a couple more coming up. All right, there we go. This is numbered to 150, a purple green pulsar. We did get a 10 on this one as well. So we're two for two on the Cinderella cards. Got another one here. And there we go, three for three. So now three tens in a row. So what I'm seeing here is a trend. Obviously, the Disney cards they seem to be grading pretty well, which is a good sign. This is numbered to 199. It's a purple refractor. So we're chasing the rainbow here on the 2024 Cinderella cards. This is a card that came out of a company called Kakao, which is a Chinese company. They have the rights to the Warner Brothers, and so they put out a Warner Brothers set, which included a lot of really beloved franchises, including The Wizard of Oz. They had Batman, Joker. They've got Lord of the Rings. They've got Star Wars. They've got all kinds of cards in this set. This is Wizard of Oz. This is a classic. You can't go wrong collecting Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. We talked about on previous episodes. I'm a big sneaker collector as well. There are two pairs of Nike SB Dunks that are Wizard of Oz themed. I've got both of those. So this was a cool card. This is numbered to 75. All right, and we got the 10 on this as well. So now we are four in a row on the 10s. This is the Dazzling Gems variation on the Kakao Warner Brothers anniversary card there. So I told you we got a mix. We're going to throw some baseball into this. This is Adolfo Sanchez rookie. He is a rookie for the Cincinnati Reds. And one of those prospects. If you're into prospecting, this is a guy that some people have their eye on. So I scooped a few up, decided to send some in. And here we go, back down on the nine. So this is a 2024 Bowman Chrome. This is the gold refractor. So this is numbered to 50. We talked about if you're new to collecting cards that within each set there are variations and parallels based on the colors, limited numbers. So this is the gold refractor numbered to 50, nine on that. So not really what we wanted there, but I'm seeing a little trend there. That's two baseballs, two nines. We're going to run off a little slew of Eeyore cards here. So this is again out of the Topps Chrome, and we're back on the 10. So clearly the Topps Chrome Disney set seems to be a little bit, I wouldn't say easier to get 10s, but maybe they are just produced a little bit better. This is numbered out of 99 on the green refractor. Got a 10 on that one. And next up, okay, this is another green refractor to 99, also receiving a 10. So that's back to back 10s on the Eeyores. there. So happy with those. We've got an Alice in Wonderland, another really cool movie. If I'm showing my age a bit, but nostalgic for me. I mean, this is back in 1951 when we first met Alice through any of the shows and movies there, but that Disney created. But just a really iconic film. Lots of cool characters in that film. Um, and this got a 10 as well. So this is another green refractor numbered to 99 there. So good with that one. And this is another prospect that I've kind of chased to collect. Going to hold on to him at the Atlanta Braves. He's a shortstop. This is Jose Perdomo. So he's a guy that I'm going to be collecting here. Submitted a few of his cards. And again, baseball, we're back to the nine. So this is out of the Bowman Chrome Sapphire. This is numbered to 199 on the blue. And this got a PSA 9. So seeing a little bit of a trend, baseball seems to be a little bit tougher of a grade here. This is another Warner Brothers card. This is the Joker scripted art. So this is going to be an autograph. I am a huge Joker fan and Joker collector. I've got some comics, some art cards of his. So big fan of Joker. This would be a great 10. This is numbered to 100, limited edition here. So there we go. So there you have it. This is the Joker script art card. So obviously these are facsimile autographs on the card, but this got a 10. This is going to stay in my personal collection for quite some time. A lot of details on these cards. Um, Really cool looking cards and to have one. And of course, I'm a little bit biased, but I would say I think Heath Ledger probably the best Joker of all time. Rest in peace to Heath Ledger there. So that's a great card to have. Back to Warner Brothers. This is numbered out of 100. And this is a fireworks Batman getting the PSA 10. So really cool card here. You can see the light bouncing and reflecting off of the fireworks in the back. So another 10 here. We talked about the fact that PSA has gotten a little bit more stringent on their grading as of recently, and whether that's good or bad for the hobby. And I'll kind of give my personal take on that. Let's go ahead and reveal this next Jose Perdomo card. This should be out of Sapphire again. And we're back to the 9. So, again, the trend on baseball is a little bit more stringent. This is the yellow parallel number to 75. So we're back to the nines on baseball. I think being stricter on grading is actually a great thing, right? So if you're reselling a card, you want tens. Tens are where you're going to get the value. But what can happen is the tens can start to flood the market. So if graders are a little less stringent on their cards and the grades they give out, if they're giving out tens consecutively, well, then you're going to have a market full of PSA tens, and those values are going to be diminished slightly because of that. So if they are going to be a little bit more strict, that's great. I think what a lot of collectors would like to see is if we could get some consistency in the grading, maybe include some AI into the grading process so that it can be a little bit more objective as opposed to subjective. I mean, I joke around and say you never know. You get your PSA grader who on the way into work spilled coffee all over himself, is in a bad mood, and all of a sudden starts giving away a stack of PSA eights that day. So I doubt that happens. I'm sure there are some standards that they have to adhere to, but when it's subjective like that, you just never know. We've got another fireworks card out of the Warner Brothers set. This is numbered to 100 again. This is Dorothy on the fireworks, and she got a 10. So happy to see those as well. Maybe not the highest valued card, but to a collector, to someone that likes the Wizard of Oz, that's a great card to have. We have another prospect. This is out of the Angels organization, another shortstop, Joshua Lugo. Now, if you're into baseball collecting, and there are others that are way more proficient at it than I am, but what I will tell you is there's certain positions that hold higher value. So in football, quarterbacks are always going to carry a premium. Then you've got those position players like wide receivers and running backs, and then obviously, unfortunately, defensive players and linemen tend to typically get the low end of the totem pole there as far as values. With baseball, it's the same way. You want the home run hitters, with the exception of some rarities. You've got classics like obviously a Nolan Ryan or some of the vintage baseball players from back in the day, the Babe Ruths. But in modern cards, it's typically the home run hitters that seek the most value. With the exception, obviously, you've got someone like a Shohei Otani who goes both ways, pitching and hitting. He's sort of an anomaly in the market. You don't see a lot of players like him. In fact, since Babe Ruth, I'd say there hasn't been anyone quite like him. that goes on both sides from a hitting and pitching perspective. But then you've got Paul Skeens, who's been the big chase this year in a lot of the products. So typically you want to look for those, and this is another shortstop, which is why I say it. Fielders, those that have power at the plate, those are some of the things that you want to look at. On the Joshua Lugo, all right, we got a 10. So it's not impossible to 10. This is numbered to 199 on the blue. So baseball, the Sapphire is not impossible to 10, which is a good sign. I told you about the Wizard of Oz, and I told you about Winnie the Pooh and kind of my affinity for both of those from growing up. So I do have a little Tigger collection as well. So you're going to see a couple of these cards pop up as we get to the end of the stack here. So very nice. This is the black and white speckle out of the Chrome Disney. These are actually numbered to 101. So if you'll notice with the way that it looks in the background, it's kind of like the 101 Dalmatians. So they numbered these cards to 101. Got a gem in 10. So that's a great card there. One of the hot chase rookies. So, like I said, you typically want to go for the power hitters for utility players, but pitchers can hold a value, especially if they're sought after. This is one that fits that. This is Yoshinobu Yamato, and he is with the Los Angeles Dodgers, a pitcher on that organization. One of the chases for that organization, and one of the chases within the new Bowman Chrome and Bowman Sapphire products. And we got the 10. This is a gold number to 50, so we will take that all day long. PSA 10 on the Yamamoto. That's a great hit there. Good to see that. Back to the world of Winnie the Pooh. We've got an Eeyore card here. And we're back to a 9. So this is the red and black refractor. If you can see, that's got the little Mickey Mouses behind them. This is numbered to 28. Because of the rarity, this may not, it's not going to decrease the value of the card. Obviously, a 10 would certainly have increased it. But, you can choose to get cards graded even if you know that they are not perfectly centered or may not receive a 10 from a grading perspective. If you just want to encapsulate the card and protect it, it may not be a bad idea to send it in and get graded as well, especially if it's something in your personal collection that you're going to keep. Um, so we've got this is another rookie. This is De Los Santos. He's a shortstop out of the Minnesota Twins organization. If you've noticed, we've kind of got a trend here. The players that I've gotten outside of Yamamoto and the pitching, there are a lot of shortstops that we've gone after. And we're back on the 9. So this was the green number to 99. Really clean, nice looking card. But again, another baseball card, another 9. So that seems to be an ongoing trend. We have another Jose Perdomo. This is all right. We got a 10, number to 199. On the blue, we will take a 10 all day long. Now, the thing with prospects in baseball, if it's not something you're used to collecting, you may have to sit and hold those cards for a while. They're typically not the cards that you're going to quick flip unless it's a really, really hot prospect everybody's talking about. They're going to take some time. You got to get them into the big leagues playing, and they have to, prove themselves just a little bit in the big leagues before you start to see those values really increase. So if you're going to do prospecting, you've got to be patient and make sure that you're willing to wait. Back on the Disney, we've got another Tigger card. This is a green and 99, and we've got a 9. So looking at these cards to my naked eye, they looked pretty good. That's why we submitted them. I'll have to take a look at exactly what happened to get the 9s on those. But that's a personal collection card, so not something that I'm particularly disappointed in. I'll just keep that in the collection. This is a card. We've got 2 coming back to back here. These are gold numbered to 10 out of the Warner Brothers sets. I do remember submitting these. One should be a Joker, the other should be a Penguin. Hoping the Joker can get a 10. That would be really great for the personal collection and also to match the autograph card that we already saw earlier. So we'll see who we have here. This is the Penguin, and we got a 10 on the Penguin. So that's a great looking card. The gold numbered to 10, PSA 10. Happy with that card for sure. So that means this is going to be the Joker card. These last 3 were all numbered to 10, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. For this is personal collection only, so selfishly, I just want the 10 so I can have it in my collection and it matches the other. See how we did on this one. And unfortunately, we got a 9 here. So it may be a centering. It looks like it's a little high top to bottom. That might be what got us on this one. Not quite sure, but again, it's rare. It's only numbered to 10. The value's not going to see a decrease too much because of that 9 on there. And the fact that it is now encapsulated means it's going to protect that card. So not necessarily too disappointed in that. I'm going to keep that in the personal collection. And the last one, we're back to Disney. This was an Alice in Wonderland card. This is numbered to 10 as well. This was a really cool color match card because it's black, and the black looked really good with the photo. This would be a fantastic card to get in a 10. I know Raw, they're selling for about 300. PSA 10s, you can typically 2 to 3x, if not, depending upon the rarity of the player or the popularity of the player, even 4 extra money there. So this card could easily go from $300 all the way up to, maybe $1,200 to the right buyer. So a 10 on this card would be fantastic. Um, so this is our last card. Let's see where we went. Nice. There we go. So there's the 10 we were looking for. This is numbered 6 of 10. Really, really nice looking card. So excited about this one. Um, really happy to see that. So that is the PSA submission for today. So as you could see, pretty big variety. We had some nines, we had some tens, something all over the place, but overall pretty satisfied with that. So appreciate it. So there you have it. PSA reveal. Not overall terribly bad. Had some tens in there, had a good bit of nines. It definitely looks like PSA is getting a bit more strict on their grading. As when I submitted those cards, I thought they were great. So, again, my overall perspective, that's a good thing for the hobby. You want to have a little bit more scrutiny when you're looking at cards. If you flood the market with too many tens, they try to do that to appease the people that are actually submitting the cards. But really, what that does is actually hurts the values. You want to have cards that are tens to be truly tens, those that fit the mark from all of those things we talked about: centering, corners, edges, surface, everything pristine. If you want to call it gem mint, it needs to be gem mint. So, in my opinion, I'm all for a little bit more strict grading. Now, what I'd like to see ultimately in the future is to get something like AI technology in to where it's a bit more objective and a little less subjective. But that's the end of the episode for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that PSA reveal. Check back in with us next week for an all new episode.
Turn me up.